From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Evening Edition.
Live from the CBS studios in San Francisco, I'm Brian Hackney.
And I'm Andrea Nakano. Car thefts in Oakland have skyrocketed at an alarming rate.
So far this year, between January and September 17th, more than 10,000 vehicles have been stolen, according to the Oakland police. Lynn talks to those impacted by the crimes, including a woman who is on the verge of homelessness.
This car owner is in tears. She just filed a police report. Someone stole her 2001 Chevy Suburban in front of her apartment Sunday morning.
What does that for me? A lot, because the car I buy it with collecting bottles on the street.
Yasmin Cabrera says she collected bottles and cans for a year to save up $3,000 to buy the SUV. Now she feels like the world around her is collapsing.
My kids, they go to Fremont. So I have to drive every day from here from Oakland to take it to Fremont. They're not going to go to school because we have to figure out what's going to be next.
Yasmin and her kids moved to Oakland about 5 months ago. They were at one point homeless after she lost her job.
We're close to be homeless here in Oakland.
Oakland police reports from January 1st to September 17th, they recorded 10,547 stolen vehicles. That comes out to about 40 stolen cars a day. Officers say that's a 51% increase compared to the same period last year.
It's astounding. It's just really hard to believe.
That's insane. I didn't realize it was that bad.
While the number is pretty staggering, I wish I could say that I was truly surprised, or am truly surprised for that matter, because of the lack of leadership in Oakland city government and the lack of accountability.
Officers say there are more stolen vehicles than the reported car break-ins, 10,335. Officers admit most people don't report break-ins anymore. We found several families on Sunday checking out their recovered cars at a lot that contracts with the police department.
My car was parked at Coliseum BART. I took my son to a baseball game last Sunday, and I came back and the car was gone.
The families tell me their recovered cars were totaled.
All 4 of my tires were stolen. They were all brand new, and all the windows were broken.
Everything was burnt to crisp. Like, there was no steering column, no seats. It was down to the wire. The back trunk was broken and gutted, everything.
The city is planning to install 300 cameras throughout Oakland by early next year. The interim police chief believes that will help track down some of the stolen cars.
We do see stolen vehicles being used in other crimes, being used to get parted out for money.
As for Yasmin, she's trying to stay strong and positive for her family.
I know everything is going to be fine. I know that.
Carjacking is up as well. Oakland police report carjacking up 20% this year compared to last. If you can, police say try to park in a garage.
Most of the people DA interviewed today say they have a Hyundai. Police say Hyundais and Kias are fairly easy to hotwire, and we understand Hyundai has reached out to some of their customers depending on the year and model to offer upgrades to better secure the cars. Now, to compare to other Bay Area cities, so far this year in San Francisco, nearly 4,900 cars have been stolen, much lower than Oakland's 10,000, but this is still an 11% increase in the city compared to last year. Adding to Oakland's troubles, the city's NAACP and Chinatown community leaders came together to voice their frustrations and said several businesses will be going on a one-day strike on Tuesday in response.
Okay, time to switch gear and have a look outside where things were dramatically different as forecast. Air quality was better. Air quality may be getting a little wetter soon.
Yes, we've got rain coming. There's not a lot, but it's the first rainmaker of fall. You know, we started fall less than 48 hours ago, late Friday night, and it's kind of like the Pacific just flipped a switch. Wait till you see the storm that's sitting out there. In its own right, this is a quite impressive-looking storm. We're just on the very southern edge of it, so we're not going to get a lot, but it's nice to see what's developed. That's live. First alert Doppler. You can see the northwest coast is already getting good rain. Look at that thing. So most of this is going into the Pacific Northwest. If we come back and just play this forward for our little branch, here's the big overview on how this storm just kind of grazes us barely. Look at the southern edge of that. That's going to move through the second half of the day tomorrow. So there wasn't a whole lot there, but we're going to look at that in a lot more detail coming up in the complete first alert forecast. But just to show you the broad brush of what's going to happen, there's a lot of rain coming up here. That's where that Smith River Complex fire has been burning. That's the one that's been the big offender on the smoke. That thing is about to get poured on, and if it doesn't go out completely, it's going to go out so much that there's not going to be any more smoke coming off that thing. But down here, if you look at how the rainfall totals just kind of fall off, that's what we're going to look at. When we come back together in the complete first alert forecast, we're just going to slow this thing down for the Bay Area as part of the rain, and we'll time that out. Pretty much it's second half of the day tomorrow in the North Bay. I'll see you at that in a few minutes, guys. Brian, back to you.
Alrighty, thanks, Darren. The weather was nice for events in San Francisco. Hundreds coming out for the Folsom Street Fair and the Autumn Moon Festival. Two very different events celebrating very different themes. We'll begin with Aubrey's brief story.
I was adopted, and so I didn't really have a lot of Asian culture in my life. And so for him, I think it's very important to just kind of be a part of that culture and exposure and that sort of thing.
The Autumn Moon Festival dates back over 3,000 years, its popularity akin to Chinese New Year.
Road and public transit shutdowns caused problems for some people trying to get around the Bay Area today. BART shut down their Green Line today, and that line runs from Daly City to Berryessa. There was a bus available to go between Union City and Fremont. And northbound Highway 87 is back open after being closed all weekend for repairs. The highway was closed since Friday night. It was shut down from 85 to 280, and the southbound lanes will be closed during a weekend in October.
Congress now has less than 1 week to pass a spending bill, or else the country will go into a partial shutdown.
A shutdown could have far-reaching impacts, and here's some of what you can expect. Almost all of the country's 3.5 million federal workers won't be paid. This includes active duty military. Air traffic controllers and TSA officers at airports will work without pay, and this might result in flight delays. National parks will likely close. Head Start preschools could temporarily close. Social Security and Medicare payments won't be stopped. Last night, President Biden called on Congress to act.
Funding the government is one of those basic responsibilities of Congress. And it's time for Republicans to start doing the job America elected them to do.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is trying to pass a short-term spending bill, but many representatives in the House Freedom Caucus aren't budging. Look at some of these tweets. Some saying, "I will not surrender." This is showing a divide in the Republican Party.
Everyone feels as if this is a political problem, that they can just blame one another. Who's going to get hurt the most is the American public. So we have to come together and we have to pass appropriations bills. That's where I'm at.
If a deal isn't reached by Saturday, experts say the broader economy would take a hit because things like permitting for construction projects and loan approvals for farms and small businesses could be paused.
Look now at the state capitol, where a number of state bills are awaiting the signature of the governor. He signed several of them supporting LGBTQ Californians, one of which directs the Department of Social Services to amend the foster care vetting process to ensure LGBTQ foster youth are not placed in hostile foster homes. And a possible future of self-driving semi-trucks is still alive. The governor said that he will not sign the bill that would have required human drivers on board. Autonomous trucks, the legislation would have banned self-driving trucks weighing more than 10,000 pounds from operating on roads unless a human driver is on board.
There's a bill heading to Governor Gavin Newsom's desk that would make Narcan available for free to anyone with health insurance. Narcan is the nasal spray that can reverse the effects of a drug overdose. But as Lauren Toms reports, the insurance industry is balking at the cost.
A nail-biting return of a cup full of asteroid unfolded over the Utah desert today in the skies of San Francisco this morning. It was the latest stop for a 7-year mission to try to find out where it all began. First, though, it had to land. What left Earth 7 years ago in a blazing liftoff
has entered the Earth's atmosphere.
Came home today after 1 billion miles in space.
And here we go.
A half-pound sample of an oddball asteroid carried back to Earth, released from the OSIRIS-REx spacecraft, was plummeting to Earth at 7:42 a.m. this morning.
At this point, we have entered in over San Francisco, California, and are very quickly going to be approaching the Utah test and training range just a little bit further to the east.
SRC is experiencing maximum heating and maximum deceleration.
With the probe dropping from space to desert floor, it was scorched by 5,000-degree temperatures as it reached a speed of 27,000 miles an hour until
SRC commands drogue parachute deploy.
Wonderful to see that deployment.
The sample canister slowed to 11 miles an hour. And the probe, after being on the other side of the solar system a few years ago, dropped right on target.
Touchdown. I repeat, EDL. SRC has touchdown.
This is the team at Lockheed celebrating that momentous achievement.
From there, the sample canister, about the size of a tire, was approached very carefully.
From day one, this mission has paid attention to keeping that sample pristine.
It was packed up and lifted by chopper a short distance away to a temporary location on the Utah Test and Training Range, where inside this building, it was carefully unpacked by experts and wheeled into a temporary clean room,
marking America's first sample return mission of its kind and opening a time capsule to our ancient solar system.
That'll do it for us for now. Thanks for watching. 60 Minutes is next, and we'll see you back here at 11.